Hey everyone, I'm back with a new video. I wanted to talk about making your own deck. I've made some. I put here all the decks I actually made and printed. There are a few I'm already in the process of making, or they are made but I didn't really print them yet. For whatever kind of reason. That can be I'm not totally happy, or even budget, like I prefer one deck over another, so I only had one printed. However, I wanted to go a little bit more in depth about it. um, I've talked a lot about, for example, my Alkebulan tarot, because I'm actually gonna make that available to the public. um, because again, I was very surprised that people really loved it and wanted a copy. And in all honesty, with this one I could do that, because, well, the pictures were all copyright free, in the sense, that there is no it's not a problem in that sense, so I can do that. However, before I made this, because in all honesty, I'm working on another tarot, but this is the only tarot I actually have right now that I've printed. There's another one I wanted to print one of these days, but for now, this is the only one I actually have printed that I made myself. So just for the sake of argument, let's put this a little bit aside. Because why would you want to make an oracle yourself? In all honesty, when we look at the mass market platform, in that sense, there are a lot of them out there. Color, sizes, subjects, everything, it's there, right? I mean, they're cheap, and the moment you're really gonna print on a better cardstock and all of that, yeah, you're gonna need to pay for it, right? So let me start with some that I made before I actually did the professional printing. Let me put these on top and then we will go from there. The first one, let's start from there, was this one. In all honesty, maybe you can see it with the light. It's horrible. Yeah. Here I misprinted, or I miscut, so we have this white kind of border kind of thing going on. This one was really done. It was my first one, yeah, but it only had 16 cards, because I did it's my Desiderata oracle, I call it, the things we are yearning for. I'm planning on doing this one in a professional print with different pictures, but for now this is the one I'm having. So I chose a picture, I put the Desiderata word in that sense, for it. And then I put some of my own keywords in that sense, that would mean, in this case, stability. So while stability is one of the things we yearn for, what could that mean? Solidity, constancy, reliability. This one is unbecoming. Changing, reflecting, adjusting. Health, vulnerabilities, morality, endurance, and so forth, So, because this was really printed on cards and paper, I laminated it horribly. Here I made some mistakes. With this one not, but there are cards that have, yeah, this tiny white border thing going on, where I was off by a millimeter or something. But this was the first deck that I was like, you know what, I'm never gonna get that, right? 16 cards. So I wanted that, and this was my first attempt, and even this kind of art style, it isn't my favorite. However, I used it. I might redo it on a professional print, but yeah, I'm still gonna keep this one, because, well, this is a little bit where it started for me. Making something, because that's what I said, right? Why would you do that? I mean, if we can get decks, yeah, for like 15, 16, 20 euros on Amazon or whatever, excuse me, why go through the trouble of, yeah, doing one yourself? For me, it was about having very specific decks. Like I said, for me, the Desiderata cards or oracle, it was really about the things we yearn for, how can I use them in a reading? So this is how this one came about. Then I checked like, oh, can I not get any good card stock, you know, where I could print on? And I got this card stock, which is really like A6. And I got this card stock, which is more thinner, you know. I prefer this card stock because it's a little bit thicker, but it was very glossy and I ended up not being able to print on it. However, I was a little bit, well, bullheaded. I was like, I still want to do it. But as you can see, it's not really taking. This one, it was okay, not too bad. This one, you can see, absolutely not great printed, you know. However, I love this deck. I mean, I got stains going on, but still, I'm loving this deck. I'm not sure if I want to do this professionally or on professional cardstock, at least, you know. I might over the time, but for now, I'm still loving my deck. I ended up printing this, and then it had to dry for like a week to really let that ink dry, and then still, again, on a lot of cards, you know, it wasn't perfect, but because it was black and white and I really loved it from the moment I started working with it, I felt like we will see with time, right? For now, it will do. And again, even now that I have an option to really let them be printed on professional cardstock, I'm still loving this deck. So I might do it in the future, but in all honesty, I'm good, even though it's not perfect. So yeah, that was my second one. But I tried on this one before I came to this, you know. And any kind of picture, it was just not gonna work. It was all blurry, again, because the ink was not staying on it, you know. So with this one, I didn't even do a backing, you know. It just stayed white, well, with all the stains, but still, it just stayed white, yeah. I wanted this one because, in all honesty, I had it in my head. I wanted the Adinkra symbols. And in all honesty, I never really checked if there was a deck online. However, when I was starting, I found 63 symbols, but 2 of them meant a little bit of the same thing. I think we just went past that one. And I stuck both symbols on the same cards because, again, they meant the same thing. So yeah, I didn't see the need to make 2 cards for the same meaning, you know. I'm not going to be able to find it now, of course. Not here. This symbol and this symbol, it meant the same thing. So I put them both on the same card. But there were 33 with those, so I have 62 cards instead of 63, you know. However, when I was already... when I just had it, I was like, I didn't even check if an oracle like this existed. So I checked online, and I don't know if I feel stupid or not because they were online. I think there were 2 or 3 different kinds. The problem was, I think the most was 52 symbols. So I still felt like, even though mine has less, but it still has more cards, you know. So I never really changed it. I never bought a copy. I might make this one in a better, like I said, in a better design, you know, and keep them like that. But again, for now, for me, this was okay. And then I was working with this paper because I did try the photo printing on this paper, and that was okay. But because it's really paper, it's paper. That's it. It's cardboard. Excuse me. So I felt like that, and I still need to laminate it. The corners on this one were already rounded by themselves, so I was like, yeah, I don't want to do that then again because my large is not as large as this. Then I need to cut them and so forth. It was not. It was more work than I wanted it to be, you know. So initially I had nothing on this, and then I thought, because I was working on the 44 Seals of Solomon, because I work with them on occasion, and I ended up printing the 44 seals on this because it's a little bit different. It's not a deck I'm gonna use every other week, you know. So even when I'm shuffling now, I can do that because I told you it's really cardboard like, you know. But even if I shuffle now, I can do that. It's not gonna be a shuffle, um, like I said, every other week. So even though it's cardboard, yeah, it's not bad, you know. Um, I don't think I would want this for a deck I'm gonna use more than once in a while. But again, for what the use was, it was okay. The same with this one. I might eventually maybe put it in a beautiful design. But again, because these three, they were my first taste in that sense of making my own. And again, even this one is very simple, right? I got the seal, I got the meaning and the title, and then I put a backing there, you know. So again, very, very basic, but again, it gives me what I need, which was more important, because this is where I'm gonna come back to. I made them for a specific reason that I didn't have, that was maybe not really out there, or if it was out there, because I did find a deck before I made mine, of the Seals of Solomon. However, I needed to bring it over from America. I'm in Europe. Yeah, the deck itself was pricey. On top of that is shipping. Then I'm gonna get custom, and all in all together, you know, it was like, yeah, I don't know if it's worth it because I'm not gonna use it that often. So again, that might be something that I will cave on in the future, but for now, this will do. I already have it a couple of years, this one, and it still looks fine, right? So again, it was this specific need, right? However, then we go to something else. I printed this one first, but we're going to talk about this one before we're going to talk about the other one. Because this one was a need, and how do you say that? Well, it was the Reclaim Oracle, it's called, right? I loved, let me put this one a little bit aside, yeah. I absolutely loved the keywords of the Reclaim Oracle, but yeah, I didn't like the art at all. And that's not to piss on somebody's project, you know, absolutely not. But I think art is very subjective. We all love other things, you know. I was trying to tell myself to buy it because I wanted to work with the set of keywords. I think there were amazing keywords. It's really about that emotional wheel, right? Excuse me, I got a dry throat. The weather is crazy here. It's making us sick here. Anyway, so again, I really love the keywords, didn't like the art at all. It's definitely not me, you know. So I wanted it, and then I was like, no, I'm not gonna pay for it because I'm not liking the art. I know I'm gonna end up maybe using it once or twice, but it's not gonna be a deck I'm gonna enjoy working with, even if I love the keywords. So I did a thing. I mentioned this before, and I will do it again. I watched one of the walkthroughs, and I wrote down all the keywords. And then I was like, okay, how can I make this my own? And, well, I put it down here, even though I'm not a big fan of text on the back of a card. But once upon a time, Bob Marley said, when you smoke the herb, it reveals you to yourself. Which is really about getting to know yourself, you know. The veil is penetrated in a sense. You cannot lie, you know. This is who you are, this is what you're doing. And because it was really an emotional spectrum kind of set of keywords, I chose to do cannabis photography on the back, or here, you know, as the picture. Sometimes I can work with the colors, you know, or the way it is portrayed, but it's about the photography and the keywords, you know. Again, I made a, for me, I think it's a very cool back, you know. We got the moon thing going on, we got the cannabis, and then I put that quote there to remind myself, yeah. But this turned out great for me, you know. I really love that. This is what I wanted. So I can work with the keywords. I'm not like what's the word, like, you don't want to work with it because what you're seeing, it's not attractive to you, you know. So again, for me, this was working. Somebody asked me that question, like, do you think it's ethical, you know, if you take other people's keywords? Well, one, yeah, as a set of keywords, I would not sell this. I don't think that would be ethical, you know. um whether I can or cannot with the cannabis photography, even if I would make drawings myself, I would not sell the 88 cards as is with these keywords. I don't think that would be ethical, you know. But again, this is for me. I don't have that guidebook, you know, so I'm really gonna go from myself in that sense. These are the pictures I'm using. These are the words I'm using. Again, I'm not going to sell it to anybody because, again, you know, as the set of keywords, I don't think that would be. But I'm not planning on selling it, yeah? This is for me, that I can work with it. And that's all I wanted. I just didn't want to have that kind of art, which was gonna, well, annoy me. Because if I'm not enjoying how I'm working with it, I'm a visual person. I love to see colors, but also really get something out of that. So as intentionally as possible, yeah. I mean, if you would ask me, okay, what does this picture have to do with betrayal? Yeah. Maybe nothing for you, but it's in the colors for me. The way that all three are well, facing some other way, maybe. You know what I mean? I mean, we can get there. I can get there from looking at what I chose, you know. There might be, in all honesty, 2 or 3 that are like, well, I don't know, maybe, but I don't know. But we had 88 keywords I wanted to use, so, well, I better found, yeah, 88 pictures that I could use in that sense. But again, I'd rather have something that gives me just a pretty picture, but with a great keyword that I could actually work with, than, yeah, with a picture that's, well, annoys me a little bit, because again, it's not my style. I don't know what to do with that. And then I still have that great keyword, but the art is not attracting me in that way. Even if I cannot get criticism out of the picture, the art is not annoying me. So, and for me, again, it's a little bit also about what it does to us. Again, when you smoke the herb, it reveals you to yourself. So it's a double meaning. But for me, again, this worked, you know? Okay, let's take another one for now, because that's what I mean. This one came about in a different way. I loved a certain deck in the sense of the keywords that were used. I didn't want to buy the deck. I didn't want to spend that money on a deck I was not going to enjoy. When I don't like to look at a deck, how often do you really going to take it? Again, with a deck like this, it's maybe not something as beautiful to look at, you know, but I have a very specific use, so I'm still taking it, you know. There's no question. When I work with Solomon in any kind of way, this is what I'm picking. This might not be very beautiful. I told you already with the printing. Now, of course, it's not going to come up. Here, for example, also horrific. Yeah. Here, again. However, because it has a very specific use, also because of the blood, sweat, and tears, and a little bit of the laughter, because my daughter helped me, because we got 6 cats going on here. 6 cats, and they're everywhere. So we needed to place these cards in places, yeah, they could not reach, because I didn't want to also have a paw print on them, you know, and then have black paw prints all over the place. So there were moments I was standing on my table, yeah, placing things on the top shelf where they could not reach, placing things inside closets, yeah, locking the key and the door, you know, so they could not get in. Again, there was a whole thing going on with this. And even though it didn't work out great, I was so happy when I got this first deck, you know. Again, this one came first, but this one was printed directly without the laminating stuff. So this one was really my first printing, and even though it failed in others, it went great, and I was just happy. And I cannot give you a legitimate reason. I'm still loving my deck, even though printing was done horribly. But again, but yeah, that's what I mean, you know. these have a story or a specific reason. For me, this was really like, no, I'm gonna pay more for this deck to be printed when I do it myself than if I would buy the other one. And I did, you know, but I love to get this deck. I love to take it out, you know, of my closet, work with it. So even though I ended up paying more just for a deck instead of a deck with a guidebook, but not liking the art then, you know. But again, that was my choice. I made it. I don't regret it. Okay, another one. And then, in all honesty, yes, again, because this one was printed by a professional printer, you know. I mean, you can see that. I mean, it's perfect in that sense, you know. The quality is amazing. I have nothing to complain about this one. Before I actually printed this one, this was my very first print. And yeah, I etched it myself in black. Because this one, I had this idea. This is my Bob Marley Oracle. I had this idea that I wanted to do a Bob Marley Oracle with parts, instead of keywords, I wanted to use parts of his sentence, out of his lyrics, you know? I thought it was a really great idea. When I started designing it, I really started to get excited about it, you know. So again, I cannot sell this because this is Bob Marley and it's art from other people they did about Bob Marley, you know. But again, you know, it was for me. This one was just about me. Yeah, I love Marley. I wanted a deck with parts of his lyrics. So I ended up doing this one. Dreddy got a job to do. Total destruction, the only solution. I can take just a sentence. Oh, excuse me. I'm so sorry. So yeah, I can just take the sentence, but most of the time, in all honesty, when I read the sentence, I know the song and I will tap into the lyrics of the complete song. But even, you know, the sentence in itself, yeah, will tell me something. Live for others and you will live again. Be not selfish in your doings. This is actually the same song. Shed those lonely teardrops. Seize your time. Don't forget your history. Know your destiny. You'll never miss your water till the well runs dry. Ain't that the truth? Live if you want to live. So, you see what I did there? So I took all this art, you know, again, because I wasn't planning on selling this. This was just for me. Every man got a right to decide his own destiny. So that's what I did, you know, and I ended up with 63 cards. I actually made some more cards. I should be printing them. I didn't get around to that yet. This deck, for now, it's 63 cards, and I love this deck. This, for me, is a unique deck, yeah. It has everything I love. Yeah, I don't know. This one was also the first one that I was like, okay, I need to find a printer that will professionally print a deck. And just one, because I don't need 250 decks of the same subject that I cannot sell, you know. And like I said, I went on a search, because that's not always easy here in Europe. I don't know if that's different anywhere else. I know from Dawn Michelle that she had some problems with copyright in America. I think it was like the sci-fi deck that she made, and she could not get it printed, you know. And that's, of course, is a bummer, right? I mean, if you did all that work, yeah, and you want a deck for yourself, and you cannot get it printed, you know. And that was actually a little bit around the time that I found a printer, and I was like, I'm not even going to ask, because if I ask, they can get, well, they can be like, no, right? So I just sent it in. I sent in the file the way they want it. I paid the order, you know, and I was like, please come through, please come through, please come through. A week later, I actually had it in my mailbox. And again, I was squealing. Yeah, I was the child, yeah, on Christmas morning. Because when I opened it, I didn't know what I was expecting. I knew it was professionally printed, but I didn't know what I was going to expect. And then when I had it, I mean, the quality was amazing. The colors are amazing. I don't know if my phone will do right by it, you know. But again, it just made me so happy. It made me really happy. And for this one, I too paid a little bit extra, you know. But once I found that this was possible, this is also when I started to think about the oh my god, here I go again, the Oracle, the original one, what I said. So I took the keywords, I changed the pictures, I designed myself a deck, and I let it be printed. After that one, I actually was finishing up my tarot deck, the Alkebalan one, now that I gave it a name, because in all honesty, I'm not really giving them names. I mean, Bob Marley Oracle, Cannabis Oracle. I mean, I'm not really being creative here, right? It's just about, I know what it is. A Dinkra Oracle, sorry. Solomon Oracle, Desiderata Oracle. I mean, again, we're not being very creative here with naming, you know. I needed to name this one for, well, marketing purposes, right? So it became the Alkebalan Tarot. But yeah, before I started about thinking, you know, about selling it, because again, like I said many times before, I made this deck for me. I was done with this and I was still working on it when this one was printed. But I already knew by that time, by the Bob Marley one, you know, what I wanted. And I was like, oh yeah, we're going to continue working on this. Not be afraid. Yeah, we now have a way. Because when I started, I didn't even have a way yet, you know, to print this professionally. But yeah, again, we found a way, and now it's here. And yeah, I've showed this one off already a few times, right? But again, it made me very happy, you know, that really that vision that you have in your mind every time, even though now that I understand the quality that they give, you know, but I'm still squealing because it's like something coming from your computer screen and suddenly you have it in your hand as you designed, you know, which again was very, very awesome. So yes, I was very happy with this. Let's leave this one alone because I've showed this too many times and mine already is getting old and really, really dirty, man. I use this one a lot. Anyway, I got this week, yesterday, right? Yes, yesterday, yeah. I got this one in. Because a couple of months ago already, I just didn't print it yet. I was working on a melanated oracle, but I didn't want real people in the sense of photography, because I was already doing photography in that time with my tarot, sorry. And I know that you have that issue with copyright, but in this case, I knew it was just going to be a deck for me, you know? So I was really thinking, and then I thought about all these beautiful artists that I'm following, whether it's on social media or somewhere else, you know. So I went online and I took pictures, you know, from Pinterest and stuff, because again, it was just for me. And I used them for my set of keywords. Some of them are not the way I would like them in sharpness and stuff, and with some I'm okay, with others I might actually reprint the picture, you know. But in all honesty, I love this deck. I showed you, yeah, it was here, right? These are my backings. I absolutely love my Oracle deck, and I'm not creative with this one too. I just called it my Afro Oracle, which is not even a real exciting name because it's not about that. It's more about melanated. But again, I went from Rastafarian to more modern to more tribal. I mean, I'm all over the place. But again, I love this deck. Most came out perfectly. I hope you can see the shape here. Somebody laying down, another one on top. Passion. But I actually zoomed in on that picture to just see a part. You can see part of his face here, but still. Energy. This one was not crystal sharp, oh, clear, not clear, but sharp, you know. But again, I didn't mind. Grief. This one too, you see a little bit of a haze almost around it, because again, it's not like that sharp picture, but we can live with it. Because again, it's not about selling, it's about, you know. Oh, and I did too, I forgot to change the first part, but I will go over that in a second. This one came out a little bit darker than I wanted, but it still is cool. I can work with that. So yeah, as you can see, I was all over the place in that sense, but I really wanted to bring that forward. And sometimes I had some extra pictures because I felt like maybe the keyword was not corresponding. I tried that as much as possible. Because, well, when you have art that you didn't make yourself, I do want that connection. With this one, it was still a little bit different. I really went on colors and stuff more. But yeah, in this one, I did want to bring that forward, because here I say voice, but yeah, there's a whole group of women behind her, you know. So you can see that as speaking up for other people maybe, or listening to your own voice instead of other voices. So yeah, again, sometimes it was just about a facial expression that I really needed to pin down, you know. But again, for me, it worked out great. Really love it. Like I said, there are some cards. There's one that's really horrible, almost printed. I probably will print that one again. Another one is very, very dark. That was not supposed to be like that. Excuse me. But again, I can work around it, you know. I can maybe find another piece of art or light up the picture. Oh yeah, here. And here I wanted to say matriarchal and patriarchal ancestors, and I ended up paternal and maternal because I had a problem spelling it. English is not my mother tongue. So I put it like this, and I was like, I will come back and change it. And yeah, it never popped in my head again. And in all honesty, I don't care right now. It will work, you know. Maybe if I do another card, by that time I might change them and put them in there, you know. But for now, I'm cool. I'm cool. I know what I meant. I know what I meant. It's kind of funny because my first reading yesterday, this one came up. It was directly a message from my ancestors. So that was kind of funny. That was kind of funny. So yeah, here too, you know, it's a little bit about an expression, body language even. Here it was more with the colors next to it and the facial, you know, that I tried to match one of my, oh yeah, and this one. When this one came, maternal ancestors, I was like, okay, ancestor message, right? Another message, and then possibilities came out, which again, I loved. So yeah, like I said, this one was a little bit mixing and matching because the art was then not mine, you know. But I absolutely love it. Yeah, this one. I'm very happy with the deck. But this one was one of the pictures that really came out, well, not good. I think my pixels were way off. This will be one probably I want to reprint. Maybe another picture. Because I know I searched for a higher resolution and I didn't find it. And yeah, I did it. I was like, we will see how it comes out, you know. Not great. So I will probably change the picture. But for now, you know, it's not the end of the world. If that comes up in one of my readings, you know, I will still know what to do with it. This one too came out darker than the yeah, when I was working on it, you know, but I can still see what's going on, so I'm gonna let that one go. Spirituality. You see, a little bit different art style, but I try to stay a little bit concisive. But yeah, at the same time, of course, if you take from different artists, but it doesn't feel like it. That's I think the beauty. That is the pat on my own back in my selection, maybe. But I wanted the realistic kind of art. I didn't mind if it was a little bit abstract around it with some, but with the faces and stuff, I wanted to be realistic. Yeah, this one was the very, very dark one. On the screen it was much lighter, so I need to work on that picture, and then I will probably reprint it, just the card, you know, because I like the picture. It has enough pixels. I just need to lighten that up so that when it comes out, we can, well, see it better. For now, it will do. It will do. Okay, this was not Lauryn Hill, and I'm still seeing Lauryn Hill. I might need to change that picture too. I don't mind Lauryn Hill, but yeah, I don't know. I will see. But it's a good picture. It was printed perfectly. Preservation, hope. So yeah, as you can see, more modern, more tribal. Again, I went all over, but I did that too with my El Cablan Tarot, you know, and I don't mind that. That's here too, right? Victimization. It had more to do with our old ways, you know. You can see older ways, and her face. I thought that keyword would fit. And again, way more modern, right? I wanted to leave him out because I was like, he's looking so mad or serious, or, well, don't mess with me kind of look, right? And I ended up actually making a keyword for him, reckoning. And even though he really looks at me like, yeah, there's no escaping, I kind of like it. I kind of like it. But yeah, this one too, you know, it's really about a certain need that I had in my decks. The thing is, we can get certain decks, especially when we're in Europe, you know, and we can like I said, we can get certain decks. What I did see, even though Europe is opening up more with indie decks, we pay a buttload of VAT cost, you know, the customs. It almost doubles, if not triples, yeah, your overall cost. And even though more indie decks are coming here to Europe, which will help us in the sense, okay, we don't need to spend that much money then. What I do see, a lot of melanated or black artists that make decks, yeah, they are not coming here. We still need to get them from, well, places like America or the UK, you know. And again, we pay for those custom fees. And I wanted it just a simple, not that I'm going to say this is simple because these are beautiful pieces of art, right? But I wanted a simple oracle because I ended up with 73 cards, which is a good amount, right? It gives some choices. So I wanted a simple oracle. I wanted a melanated oracle because I have some. For example, one of my newest one is, I did a walkthrough of it, right? Or first impressions. The Love Oracle of Eden. But again, it's very specific into love and self-love maybe even. And I think I could use it a little bit more general. Yeah, in certain ways maybe. But still the art has that very loving and kind and gentle kind of feel, you know. Then I have those Nefertiti transformation cards, and they're great, but it's a smaller oracle, you know. And I really love them, but I pair them, I like to pair them with my New Orleans Voodoo Tarot. And even like this, you know. So that would be, in all honesty, a very simple, straightforward deck. That's one. And then I'm actually looking in my closet. I have that beautiful Iyami Oracle of Sister Aminat. But that one is very deep. I'm going to use that one very specific. So it's not going to be my everyday oracle in that sense. Let me see, what else do I have? Oh yeah, the African Goddess Rising Oracle. It's Hay House published, so mass market even. Again, I love it, but that's goddess energy. That's not an everyday kind of pull for me, you know. Again, I have some. I really have some, and I love them. But I did feel like I was missing an everyday kind of deck, you know, one that I could just pull um, with no nonsense or any kind of specific area, you know. And that's why I made this one. I have some others coming in this month, hopefully. Um, but again, I wanted to print this one. I'm still working on some other ones, and I hope I can get them printed too. But again, the subject of the matter was, you know, oh, sorry, people, sorry, my throat. Yeah, why would you do it? You know, because yes, just for one that you need to print, yeah, um, yes, it's gonna cost you. But let's be honest, all indie decks cost us. If you have any kind of um specific niche, which is not per se Celtic, we're already looking, you know, in a lot of the times we look into the indie market. A lot of the mass market, yeah, we're getting there, don't get me wrong, and I know it's baby steps here and there, you know. I pre-ordered the African Gods Oracle that's coming out this month. And I pre-ordered it because I know I want to have it. And we have, like I said, the African Goddess Rising. We have, of course, of Brother Wayne, yeah, we have that Global Fusion Tarot. We have the New Orleans Voodoo Tarot, Hoodoo Tarot. There are some out there by now. But again, when you want to go deeper, when you want to have some extra tools, yeah, it's not easy. When we don't live in America, it's even more not easy, you know, because again, all these extra costs on top of it. I end up paying more for that than I think I would pay for this. With the Reclaim, what I said, I ended up paying more for this one because the Reclaim was here in Europe. I could get that for 50 euros. Maybe I can put some shipping of 6 or 7 there. And this one was, well, 80 or 90, you know. For me, it was worth it because this is my deck. Every picture I worked on, whether it was enhancing colors or putting a keyword on the right picture, I worked on this deck. Before this was printed, I already knew this deck. You know, I didn't have it as a deck, but I knew this deck. So that bonding process already happens while you're making it. I remember very well when I started, like I said, with this one, because this one was my first that I actually sent to the printer, you know. When I started with this one, that's what I said, I had no idea what I was gonna expect. Of course I knew how a deck of cards feels, but this one was that I made myself. Would the colors be okay? Would it be printed okay? Would it be blurry? Would it be this? Would it be that? And like I said, kid on Christmas morning, I was so happy. But the same with this, because I really worked on it. I researched lyric parts that could also then just be in that moment a message in itself, you know. I looked for art that was well enough done that I could have it let it be printed, you know. So yeah, all of that together, yeah, again, may come, yeah, like, because you worked on it, yeah, you already know this deck. There is nothing, yeah, that you don't know about it, except now you actually have it in these amounts of cards, and you can actually flip through it instead of, well, with your screen, you know. And of course the feeling is very different once you actually have them in your hands, you know. I'm actually putting them together and I'm looking. I like it. The reflection is causing confusion. I think I could work with this. Defeat detachment. Oh, I think I might actually want to do a reading with both. Also, this was actually a word. I think it was on a Facebook page. Somebody posted the website of Bannabel Wen. Um, she had this thing that you could calculate or something, and then you got a number, and then with each number you had a word, and that would be the word for 2023, 2023. And I did mine, and I ended up with synergy, and I was like, cool, now I don't know what to do with that. No, don't get me wrong, no diss, because it was fun to do. I was happy with my keyword, and I was like, yeah, okay, I don't know what to do with that. And I actually ended up putting this in right before I wanted to order it. I was like, let me put it there, because I found this picture. I didn't know. I was saving it maybe for another deck, and then I was like, no, I remember I had this this picture. I put it in there in the same design, and I put my word of the year there. I was like, that works. So even that is a way of getting your keywords, apparently. But now I know, even when we're 5 years further, I'm still gonna remember my keyword, for 2023, because hey, I put it in my deck. But yeah, whatever the reason is, I think, it's a great exercise. Especially, in all honesty, when you go about tarot. I think of myself as having enough knowledge of tarot. I've been doing it for years. I know, but even when I was making the deck, I was open, to different kind of interpretations to really see how I would put it on the card, right? But again, for me, this deck was about how I read the cards. You might not agree, and that's fine, right? But this one was really, this is how I see it. I read others' interpretations, and I was like, oh, that's cool. Yeah, but that's not how I see it. You know what I mean? Like, but again, I made a deck really for me. I went some other ways in cards. For example, also in the courts, I worked with masks. But yeah, this became really personal, right? I know every card inside and out. So I already bonded with the deck before it actually was a deck, But yeah, there are many decks out there, and no matter how much we love a deck, we end up a lot of the times, right, that we feel like, yeah, okay, I don't like this card that much, or I don't like that card that much. With my own decks, I don't need to do that exercise. That exercise we all love when we want to bond with a deck, cards we like, cards we really like, and cards we like, nah, Yeah, I don't need to do that. I love them all. That's why I chose them, right? And of course, I will still have like, okay, I prefer this one over this one, but that doesn't mean I don't like this one. You know what I mean? So yes. It's kind of fun that these came, right? Rage and contentment. That is like total opposites. It's kind of funny. These two. I need to shuffle. But yeah, this is a reason for me why I really started to love making my own decks. Like I said, I mean, this is how far I've come, right? I mean, paper print and what's that's called, that transparent sticky paper. Oh my god, I'm really bad. What's that called? Well, you're all yelling at your screen right now. That's what that's called. But yeah, this is how I once started, and I probably will do this one again. I already had an outline of this on my program. But yeah, this is probably one I will do again. So when I talk about program, if you're all asking me, oh, what do you use? I use Canva. I love that program. You can get it for free. If you want to go pro, it's like 12 euros or something in the month. In all honesty, I don't spend that much on my phone at all, so this is something I don't mind paying for, and I love that program. The more I work with it, the smarter I get in it too, I'm working on another tarot for myself, because it's gonna be a Rastafarian tarot. So I'm using pictures of Haile Selassie, Queen Menon, reggae artists, you know. So yeah, I cannot sell that. I mean, that is copyrighted, yeah, from top to bottom. But again, I wanted to use that for me. But I started to using with I started using Sacred Geometry, and they have that in the app itself in a PNG format, so with a transparent background, so I can layer that on top of a picture, stuff like that, you know. And every time, yeah, I get smarter in how I want to do things, how far I can go. Again, this one was my first and I was afraid, so I took a lot of room here, right? I mean, all of this, yeah, and they're the same format, because that is something that I did look for, you know. All the pictures are the same format, but then I have a lot of black space here, because again, this was my first print. I probably would use it a little bit more like this now, you know. But I love my deck. This is not going anywhere. But to show you, right? I mean, this is how I started. And then I started with some collage, yeah. I did some collage. I had one background. I put things on top of that. I placed other things inside of it. While I was working on this, and I was not that far yet, I think I did the majors by that, at least the outlines, because I changed later. I also did this, and I was thinking about making it more, but I was like, no, I don't want that. I just want plain cannabis photography, you know, and I kept it really simple. But again, I'm learning. Even I'm still learning. I already made multiple decks. There are decks I didn't even print yet, but they're done, you know. I just have to print them. But again, that will be for that time, because this one was actually ready for a long time before I printed it. But because I was really caught up in this one, in all the things that came with this, and it's costing a lot of money altogether, right? I mean, I think I said for the Alkebulan Tarot, I actually now have a hard book. I think I will do a video about it, because I had an paperback first. I actually now have a hardcover book, because I made the font bigger. So again, yeah, I will do another video about that. And I actually have a bag for the deck. So yeah, I definitely should do a video about that. But yeah, because this one was very different, right? I mean, this one I'm gonna do the selling off. With this one I was not planning to do so. And again, with this one also not. With my Bob Marley one not. These are all personal decks for me, you know. And in all honesty, this one too. Even though I'm going to sell this one now, I'm going to do the Kickstarter pretty soon. But it's still a very personal deck for me. I'm still loving my deck. I know I shouldn't say that, because I'm now going to sell it, but I cannot help it. I'm still loving my deck. So yes. But yeah, did you ever try to make an oracle for yourself, and how did that go? If you had some trouble maybe with it, what were these troubles? What is holding you back? Maybe you want to do it, but you feel like, oh, I can't. Again, what is holding you back in that sense? Because like I said, in all honesty, even if you have an oracle that you like the keywords of, but you don't like the art of, again, if it's not about selling, if it's just for you, you know, then yeah, I don't see the problem. I took the keywords, I made it something else, and I'm working actively with it now, you know. So yeah, please tell me. I would love to see maybe some videos of yourself where you maybe show some of the decks you made. Again, please tag me in it. Again, I would love to see, because not gonna lie, we could use the inspiration. But yeah, what do you think? Do you would like to make a deck for yourself? Again, what is holding you back, or what is stopping you? Yeah, any of that, I would really love to hear about it. Again, what I said, for me, some have different reasons, right? Like I said, my first try, I just wanted the Desiderata cards, and I wanted to make that an oracle kind of thing. I'm working with King Solomon, you know, how can I get these talismans or seals, you know, on a deck. African Adinkra symbols, how can I work with them in an oracle? You know what I mean? All of it has a reason. So again, I would love to see if you all made your own decks. Yeah, please show me. Please. I can use the inspiration. I think it's an awesome thing. Again, I think for the ones that already did it, and maybe if you didn't do it, you can really understand that yeah, they're very personal then, right? That's your creation, even if I didn't do the art myself. Yeah, I created this deck. Yeah, I found the art, I put my own stamp on it in sense of keywords, even how I accumulated them together as a set, you know, how I made it one piece, yeah, instead of in this case 73 just art pieces. This is now a 73 piece, but one big art piece in that sense. So yeah, again, but yeah, I think I made my point in the sense of, yeah, I love to make my own oracle. If it really feeds something, right? It's like I said, because I got certain needs, and then they cannot be met, or maybe they can be met, but again, financially, yeah, it might not be worth it. Yes, I might need to design and do all of this, you know, and then I pay, for example, with this one, even more than the original deck. But for me, I pay more than the original deck, but now I'm using it. So I'm actually invested in it in that sense. Or I buy the original deck and then I don't grab for it. That's wasted money, right? At least for me. So yeah, whatever it is, if you really have a project in mind in that sense, then yeah, by all means. Anyway, I think I made my point, you know, get working. No, I'm joking. But no, in all honesty, if it's something that you want to do, just do it. Like I said, with my first one, I was a little bit insecure. And again, I ended up with smaller pictures than this, right? But I'm very happy. Even if I could now make it big, I would not even bother, you know. I love my deck. I love this deck. So yeah, again, please, if you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments. I will answer them. If you did this for yourself, then please share with me your videos, whether you already made them or in the future, you know. Again, we love to see that. And then for now, I want to thank you. Yeah, because I was talking about it, I will come back doing an updated video about the Alkebulan Tarot. All the goodies that came in, that will be in the Kickstarter when, you know, that will launch. But again, for now, I want to thank you. I hope to see a lot of your videos, so please send them. And I wish you all a very beautiful day. And again, hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.